Hi, I'm Muhammed. I'm Hamdan, and this is Nightline, and here are the top stories. India-Pakistan tensions escalate as dozens killed in worst violence in decades. And Pamela Ling's disappearance, no basis to allegations of harassment, says MACC. Good morning. We begin with this headlining story. Tensions between India and Pakistan have escalated sharply following a series of Indian missile strikes on Pakistani territory on Wednesday, killing at least 34 people and marking the worst violence between the neighbors in 2 decades. India launched Operation Sindoor, targeting 9 sites in Pakistan and Pakistan-administered Kashmir, which it claims were linked to terrorist groups responsible for a recent attack in Indian-controlled Kashmir that killed 26 tourists. Pakistan, however, condemned the strikes as an act of war, reporting that the missiles hit civilian areas, including mosques. In response, Pakistan claimed to have shot down 5 Indian fighter jets and launched retaliatory strikes, further intensifying the conflict. Cross-border artillery exchanges have continued, with both sides reporting additional casualties. As of now, Islamabad has claimed that 26 civilians were killed and 46 wounded by Indian strikes and border fire, while New Delhi reported at least 8 fatalities from Pakistani shelling. Meanwhile, passengers across India were left stranded on Wednesday as flight cancellations and airspace closures disrupted travel in several cities amid escalating cross-border tensions. Data from Flight Radar 24 showed commercial aircraft avoiding airspace near the India-Pakistan border following India's missile strikes and the deployment of fighter jets. Travelers complained of a lack of information from airport authorities, with some being told that the airport had been declared a defense-restricted zone. Meanwhile, funeral prayers were held in Muridka on Wednesday for 3 individuals killed in Indian airstrikes targeting the headquarters of the banned group Jamaat-ud-Dawa. The Pakistan Army and group members attended the funeral. The ceremony took place amid heightened security, with coffins draped in Pakistani flags laid on the ground as military and civilian officials, along with residents, offered prayers. Meanwhile, global concerns are mounting following India's launch of Operation Sindoor.
It is the time for maximum restraint and stepping back from the brink. That has been my message in my ongoing outreach with both countries. Make no mistake, a military solution.
印度和巴基斯坦是搬不走的邻居，也都是中国的邻国。中方反对一切形式的恐怖主义。我们呼吁印巴双方以和平稳定的大局为重，保持冷静克制。
Of course, it is always deeply worrying to see conflict in this region. In the UK, we are a friend, we are a partner to both Pakistan and India. We are standing ready to support both countries on dialogue, on de-escalation, and of course on the regional stability.
No, it's a shame. We just heard about it just as we were walking in the doors of the Oval. Just heard about it. You know, they've been fighting for many, many decades and centuries, actually, if you really think about it. No, I just hope it ends very quickly.
The escalating tension over the attack has prompted Malaysian carriers to suspend their services to Amritsar Airport following the closure of Pakistan's airspace. Malaysian Aviation Group MAG said 2 Europe-bound flights operated by Malaysia Airlines to London Heathrow and another to Paris Charles de Gaulle were rerouted to refuel in Doha, Qatar, before resuming their journeys. All Malaysia Airlines flights to and from Amritsar, India until May 9th have been temporarily suspended. Batik Air has also taken precautionary measures, suspending services between Kuala Lumpur and Lahore, Pakistan and Amritsar on May 7th and 8th. They include 2 flights to and from Lahore, as well as another 2 flights to and from Amritsar. Air Asia has taken similar steps by suspending its services to Amritsar. The carrier said all flights will be temporarily halted until May 9th due to the airport's closure. And here's more home news. Malaysia will be taking a careful and prudent approach in addressing the tariff issue imposed by the United States. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said the government will be prioritizing diplomatic negotiations and regional cooperation in all its efforts. In a statement on Wednesday, Anwar said Malaysia will be taking a calm and balanced approach with the main goal of safeguarding the nation's interests as well as ensuring continued economic growth. The tariffs were announced by US President Donald Trump on April 2nd, which include a sweeping 10% baseline duty on all countries and a steeper 24% levy specifically targeting Malaysian goods. As for the ASEAN chair for 2025, Anwar said Malaysia is playing an active role in strengthening relations with the United States, as well as other major trading partners such as China and the European Union. The government, according to Anwar, is also exploring new trade opportunities with rapidly developing economies like Russia and Brazil as part of efforts to diversify the country's export markets. He added that the approach is in line with the nation's medium-term economic strategy, which focuses on macroeconomic stability, the resilience of global trade, and increasing foreign direct investment (FDI) in order to ensure inclusive and sustainable prosperity for all citizens. On healthcare, the Prime Minister has instructed the Health Ministry to scrutinise concerns raised by private medical practitioners on the enforcement of the Anti-Profiteering Act, which requires private healthcare providers to display the prices of medicines. Communications Minister Datuk Fahmi Fadil said the Cabinet has also agreed to review the 7th schedule of Act 586 pertaining to consultation fees and procedures at private clinics. According to Fahmi, the use of Act 723, which falls under the purview of the Domestic Trade and Cost of Living Ministry, has sparked objections among practitioners.
Jadi ada di kalangan doktor dan juga MMA yang bertanya kenapa akta tersebut digunakan dan bukan akta 586. Jadi Perdana Menteri telah minta supaya perkara ini segera dijelaskan.
He said this during a weekly post-cabinet media conference in Putrajaya on Wednesday. He added that a cabinet paper on the matter is expected to be tabled within 2 weeks. On Tuesday, approximately 200 medical practitioners gathered to submit a memorandum to the Prime Minister's office, protesting the application of the Price Control and Anti-Profiteering Act 2011 on the medical profession. They claim the act was implemented without prior consultation or engagement with medical practitioners. On another note, Fahmi said schools located en routes which will be affected by the upcoming 2-day ASEAN summit in the capital will be shut for remote learning. He said the government has encouraged both private and public employers to work from home on those 2 days in anticipation of heavy traffic caused by road closures. Fahmi said the Education Ministry will release the list of schools soon. Private companies located along key travel routes are also encouraged to allow employees to work from home during that period.
Perdana Menteri menyatakan bahawa syarikat-syarikat swasta yang berpengkalan, beribu pejabat di kawasan-kawasan yang mana akan berlangsung sidang kemuncak ini adalah digalakkan untuk membenarkan pekerja-pekerja mereka untuk bekerja dari rumah bagi tempoh sidang kemuncak tersebut.
The police will soon announce the main roads which will be used by heads of government and state. The routes will cover areas around the Kuala Lumpur International Airport, the Sultan Abdul Aziz Shah Airport in Subang, and the Subang Royal Malaysian Air Force Base, including hotels accommodating foreign delegations. Cupex, meanwhile, welcomed the government's proposal to implement work-from-home arrangements for civil servants during the ASEAN summit. Its president, Dato' Haji Ahmad, hails the move as a proactive approach to reducing traffic congestion, especially in the Klang Valley and Putrajaya. In a statement on Wednesday, Adnan said if plans to work from home are well executed, daily operations will not be affected and can help safeguard public well-being without compromising the efficiency of service delivery to the community. He added that Malaysians had ample experience with working remotely during the COVID-19 pandemic, where employees successfully adapted through the use of technology and online systems. Malaysia sees great potential in expanding the export of palm oil products to the East African market. Plantation and Commodities Minister Datuk Seri Johari Abdul Ghani said Kenya has been identified as a strategic gateway to enter this market. Johari is currently in Nairobi, leading the Malaysian delegation to explore new economic and trade opportunities. On the second day of his three-day official visit to Kenya, Johari met with the Cabinet Secretary for Investments, Trade and Industry, Lee Kinyanjui. Their meeting included discussions on expanding Malaysia's palm oil exports through Kenya to access markets in Uganda, Tanzania and Rwanda.
Beliau mohon tengok bagaimana kita boleh meningkatkan trade di antara Kenya dengan Malaysia untuk memastikan bahawa defisit yang mereka alami hampir 5 bilion ini tidak terlalu membesar. Jadi salah satu cadangan yang telah dibuat ialah untuk menjemput pelabur-pelabur yang terlibat dalam industri kelapa sawit untuk membuka processing center mereka di Port Mombasa ataupun Industrial Port Mombasa.
Kenya's Mombasa Industrial Park can also serve as a regional processing hub for Malaysia's palm oil products before it is exported to other East African markets. The initiative is also expected to create employment opportunities for locals and increase the added value of Malaysian product exports. In 2024, Malaysia exported 5.2 billion ringgit worth of palm oil and palm-related products to Kenya, accounting for nearly 95% of its total exports to the country. The government has imposed a 5-year anti-dumping duty on imports of polyethylene terephthalate PET-based synthetic polymer plastic from China and Indonesia effective Wednesday. The 5-year sanction was implemented after an investigation revealed unfair trade practices. Indonesian exporters are set to face 37.44% duty, while for Chinese exporters, duties range between 2.29% and 11.74%, depending on the company. According to the Investment, Trade and Industry Ministry, MITI, an investigation was initiated on August 9th last year after a petition was lodged by local PET producers. This followed a determination by the ministry which concluded that domestic PET producers had suffered material injury from underpriced imports. The anti-dumping duty aimed to safeguard the local industry from unfair trade practices will be enforced by the Customs Department until May 6, 2030 under the Countervailing and Anti-Dumping Duties Act 1993. Father-in-law reportedly punched and beaten to death. The details after this breather.
Aku bekerja dengan company. Company nak aku jaga kampung ni. Selamat datang ke kampung Ketayang. Ada kau batal?
Awak ni pendekar ke?
Dialah satu-satunya harapan kita sekarang.
Company akan ambil alih perniagaan biji timah.
Dia nak suruh kami semua lawan askar Belanda ke?
Bukan askar Belanda, tapi 6 jelaka.
Kau tak payahlah tolak aku. Kau tak tahu nanti.
Aku tak tolak.
Jan, sampai bila kita nak buat kerja ni?
Boleh kaya ke?
Syah, kalau kaya tu mudah. Dah ramai dah orang kaya, kau tahu.
Nak kerja buat apa? Ni aku nak buka bisnes kopi untuk kita ni.
Bisnes kopi?
Konsep bisnes kita ni mewah. Biji kopi tu sini kena rare.
Wow! Kopi dia memang kau, guys!
Aku ada allergic peanut butter, faham?
Aku tu fikir apa kerja yang kita buat sekarang ni semua perangkap tau.
Kita kerja ke mana pun sama aja. Yang lainnya orang keliling kita.
Hidup you banyak tentangan bukan sebab nasib you kurang baik. Tapi perangai you macam...
Kopi, kafe ni bukan dunia aku dan bukan dunia kau juga. Encik Azmi bikin salah. Tapi kau tetap nak kejar kat cita-cita kau tu. Kau kejar.
korang tak namakan lagi eh?
Aku dah dapat idea dah ni. Nama kita...
Satria, Bangki.
Welcome back. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission (MACC) said it acted according to the law in the investigation involving Datin Sri Pamela Ling Yue. The commission said any allegations of harassment therefore have no basis.
In a statement on Wednesday, the anti-graft body said at every stage, the MACC has acted within the legal framework, including obtaining all necessary court orders and adhering to established procedures. It said allegations of harassment or misconduct are unfounded. The MACC added that the police are now leading investigations on her disappearance with the Commission's full cooperation. On the corruption and money laundering cases linked to Pamela, the MACC said an investigation paper had been opened on May 28th last year. On December 2nd, 2024, an arrest warrant for Pamela was obtained from the Putrajaya Magistrates Court for the offence of failing to comply with the order to attend an interview for the purpose of completing the probe. Subsequently, on January 8, 2025, a joint operation with the Corrupt Practices Investigation Bureau of Singapore was launched and Pamela was lawfully apprehended and brought back to Malaysia. Following her arrest, she was then brought to the Putrajaya courts where she was remanded from January 9th to January 11th before being granted bail. On April 9th, the MACC requested Pamela to attend the MACC headquarters to continue her statement recording, but she failed to turn up. Pamela's disappearance, according to the MACC, does not nullify or invalidate the ongoing investigation into suspected offences.
The MACC continued recording statements from Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob on Wednesday as part of an ongoing corruption and money laundering investigation. Wednesday's session, which lasted for 6 hours, marks the 8th time the former Prime Minister has been questioned by the Commission. The Borough Member of Parliament arrived at the MACC headquarters in Putrajaya at 10:55 a.m. The investigation involves expenditure and procurement of funds for the promotion and publicity of the Keluarga Malaysia program during his tenure as the 9th Prime Minister from August 2021 to November 2022. He then left the premises at around 5 p.m. MACC Chief Commissioner Tan Sri Azambaki previously said that the investigation is estimated to be only 15 to 20% complete. Ismail Sabri was last summoned by the MACC on April 24th, during which he was questioned and provided additional statements related to his asset declaration. In other news, in Negeri Sembilan, a factory operator was charged with murdering his father-in-law last month. In the Seremban Magistrates Court, 32-year-old V. Karti nodded when the charge was read out before Magistrate Hazilia Muhammed. The accused was charged with murdering 52-year-old P. Sasikumar by punching and beating the man in Taman Rahang, Seremban on the afternoon of April 27th. No plea was recorded as the case is under the jurisdiction of the High Court. The charge under the Penal Code provides for the death penalty or no less than 30 years imprisonment and 12 strokes of the cane if convicted. The court set June 18th for case mention. A 50-year-old man has been arrested in connection with the death of a woman whose body was found along the Kesas Highway near the Awan Besar rest area on Tuesday. Cheras Police Chief Aidil Bolhasan said the suspect, who is a woman's husband, was picked up in Puchong on Tuesday following a report lodged at the Bandar Kinrara police station. The man admitted to being involved in the 2:30 p.m. incident and that he had an argument with his wife while they were on the way home. Investigations showed that he tested positive for drugs and that he had prior police records for criminal and drug-related offences. The man also claimed that his 44-year-old wife had been using drugs. The couple had reportedly been married for 20 years and have 2 children. Police are investigating the case under the Penal Code for causing death by negligence, which carries a jail term of up to 30 years and a fine. Massive dust storm forces schools to close. The details when Nightline returns.
Hari Ahad malam lah paling best nak layan filem-filem blockbuster di TV3. Syarani! Cintan-cintun luar angkasa pun ada.
It's gonna be okay.
Are you serious?
Dead serious.
Berdebar tak berdebar ni? Layan filem-filem hebat Mei ini di TV3 Blockbuster dan stream juga melalui Tonton.
Ini hasil bumi orang Melayu. Kenapa Belanda nak jaga? Tembak! Tembak!
Dengar cerita dah 999 orang yang kena sembelih. Kau nak jadi bangsa yang ke-1000 kau. Pulangkan ini kepada isteri ku, Kuping.
Kamilah 6 jelaka.
Dengan anak muda yang lebih cenderung kepada teknologi terkini kan.
Pada awalnya saya nak perlukan orang yang legend yang boleh memberi kata semangatlah kepada anak-anak muda.
Kita dah ada department effect, yang mana department effect tu dia boleh generatekan effect tu dalam dunia 3D.
Ada interaction yang banyak dengan audience, so audience akan lagi seronok.
Especially peminat-peminat Agent Ali akan suka sebab lama juga dia orang tunggu kan.
Welcome back. Onto the foreign front. Over in Vatican City, more than 100 cardinals have begun their conclave to elect a new pope. A total of 133 cardinals from 71 countries gathered on Wednesday to vote in secret, a process that could take several days. The world is now waiting for white smoke to rise from the chimney of the Sistine Chapel, a traditional signal that a new pope has been elected. The outcome of the conclave will decide the future leader of the Catholic Church, a decision that will impact millions of faithful around the globe. Israeli Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich sparked international condemnation on Wednesday after declaring that Gaza will be entirely destroyed and its Palestinian population displaced to third countries. The comments were The comments were part of a military plan which aims to occupy the Gaza Strip and remove its inhabitants. The United Nations and humanitarian organizations have warned that such actions could constitute ethnic cleansing and violate international law. Meanwhile, the International Criminal Court considers further legal action. A massive dust storm swept from Iraq into western Iran on Wednesday, prompting authorities to shut down schools and offices across 7 provinces. The storm has significantly reduced visibility and raised health concerns, particularly in the provinces of Khuzestan, Kermanshah, Ilam and Kurdistan. Approximately 13 million people have been advised to stay indoors due to hazardous air quality, as officials attribute the severe conditions to high levels of accumulated dust. In Iraq, the storm led to thousands being hospitalized where respiratory issues and flights have been grounded in affected areas. Turning to sports, badminton, the 2025 Taipei Open. As attention turns to former national mixed doubles pair Chen Tangjie, To Yiwei, both competing with new partners in the tournament, proved their competence by cruising into the round of 16. Chen Tangjie, along with his new partner Chen Wenzi, secured their spot in the second round of the mixed doubles after a confident opening performance. The 7-seed pair showed little trouble against Hong Kong's Lui Chunwei and Fu Qiyan, sealing a straight-set victory 21-17, 21-17 in just 31 minutes. They will next face Indonesia's Marwan Faza and Aisyah Salsabila Putri Pranata in the round of 16. 6-seed mixed doubles pair To Yiwei and her new partner Lu Bingkun also delivered a strong performance, overcoming Vietnam's Pham Van Hai and Tan Van An 21-14, 21-10. The pair is set to face South Korea's new team Ki Dongju and Jong Na-eun in the next round. Meanwhile, Ng Zi-yong met a different fate, suffering an early exit at the Taiwan Open following his return from a serious lower back injury. The 24-year-old went down fighting 18-21, 21-18, 21-17 to Taiwan's Wang Po Wei in the first round after enduring a grueling 1 hour and 27-minute contest. Tennis now, the 2025 Italian Open in Rome. Former Wimbledon champion Petra Kvitova returned to winning ways on Tuesday, marking her first victory since a challenging comeback after maternity leave. The 35-year-old Czech lost all 4 of her matches since making a comeback in February, but bounced back in the Italian Open first round by beating Romania's Irina Camelia Begu 7-5, 6-1. Kvitova will next play against Tunisia's Ons Jabeur in the second round. In another match, Italy's Lucia Bronzetti earned her first win at the Masters 1000 on home soil after cruising through Latvia's Anastasia Sevastova 6-3, 6-4. She will next meet 12th seed Karolina Muchova of the Czech Republic. And that concludes Nightline this time around. Abandoned cars have long been a source of frustration for local authorities. In Putrajaya, 17 cars were towed after their owners failed to comply with removal notices. We leave you with visuals of the towing operations. With that, I'm Muhammed Hamdan. Thanks for watching and stay safe.